A crisis had already been unfolding in Haiti before criminal gangs took over the country in recent weeks. The country hasn't had an elected government for over a year. Its 43rd president, Jovenel Moïse, was assassinated on July 7th of 2021, and they hadn't elected a new president since then. And now, as I mentioned earlier, criminal gangs have taken over the country. And about a week ago, the prime minister of Haiti, Ariel Henry, stepped down with the hopes that it would squash the violence or at least calm down some of the violence that's being carried out by these gangs. Unfortunately, that has not been the case.
Extortion and kidnappings have become a common trade to finance the gangs. Since the assassination of the Haitian president in 2021, the country has been plunged even further into political chaos and insecurity. 80% of the capital today is controlled by criminal groups. Haitian police officers attempt to regain control of parts of the city.
Yeah, let's go.
In a bullet-riddled tank, this elite unit gears up for a face-off with a gang. Making their way through Mariani, a neighborhood west of Port-au-Prince.
The residents here are desperate. The area has been occupied for some time by armed men, civilians. We're here to put them out of their misery.
Now, unfortunately, gang violence has been a bit of a mainstay in Haiti, but things really exploded while the prime minister was in Kenya. Now, hunger has already set in for Haitians who were already living in poverty, and fears of famine are growing in the failed state. 300,000 Haitians have been displaced from their homes, and half of those individuals happen to be children. The United States is also attempting to evacuate Americans from Haiti and managed to bring about 30 people home on chartered flights today. But getting to the airport has become nearly impossible for Americans who are stranded in Haiti because the gangs are blocking the roads. Here's more on that.
The situation for ordinary people remains dangerous, with police in the capital Port-au-Prince currently trying to arrest gang leader Jimmy Chirizier, known as Barbecue. Last week, the escalating violence forced the resignation of the Prime Minister Ariel Henry, who had been out of the country trying to organize the deployment of an international security force to stabilize the country.
On Friday, the police was trying to access one of their bases for their specialized police units, and then you got into a shootout with some of the gangs, and this continued into yesterday. This is a stronghold there. We're also hearing that private homes were also looted. We know that the gangs went back and attacked the seaport again. UNICEF is saying that they had a number of containers that have been looted. People have not been able to leave the capital because all roads outside of the capital are blocked by gangs. So this will benefit individuals who are in the north of the country, who are not in the capital, but the ones who really need to get out are those that are in Port-au-Prince, and we do not know how that is going to happen.
Now, in response to all of this violence, bloodshed, and suffering, apparently Caribbean leaders are forming the creation of a transitional government. It was supposed to have 7 members with voting powers, but one political party in Haiti rejected the seat that they were offered, and another is still apparently squabbling, according to the Associated Press, over who should be nominated. And meanwhile, the development of a UN-backed Kenyan police force to fight these gangs in Haiti has been delayed, with the East African country saying that it would wait until the transitional council is established. So how did we get here? Because obviously this didn't just come out of nowhere. This didn't just start a few weeks ago. This has been an ongoing issue. Haiti has dealt with a lot of historical events that got us to the place that we're in now. And luckily, to help us figure this all out is Wosny Lambre, obviously a friend and contributor to TYT, and also from The Ringer. Thank you for joining us.
No problem. Happy to be on with you guys.
So I've heard you cover Haiti on your podcasts, Woke Bros, or on other shows many times, and you always come correct with like this historical context that I think is important in understanding how we got to where we are today. So why don't we start with that? Talk a little bit about, Europeans colonizing, Haiti, the United States' role in what is transpiring in Haiti. I think it's all really relevant to help understand what's happening.
A lot of mainstream media don't give you honest news. We do. You know why? Because of you. Paid membership on YouTube makes all the difference. Hit the join button below and you become the hero that sustains us.
I mean, some people would say pretty much ever since the founding of the state, when Jean-Jacques Dessalines declared Haiti an independent state after they defeated the French in the Haitian Revolution. Pretty soon after that, he tried to redistribute the land amongst the peasants, and the Haitian elite conspired to have the guy assassinated. And they brought their Western betters back into the country. And that's basically been the lay of the land ever since. And at different times it's France, at different times it's been the US, at different times it's been the Clinton Foundation. But there's always been this influence from the Western powers within the islands, and it's always been in collaboration with the Haitian elites. Believe it or not, yes, Haiti is what they call the poorest country within the Western Hemisphere, but the Haitian oligarchs enjoy incredible amounts of wealth. We're talking about people who live in the mountains and have helipads on their freaking properties, right? And so they've always been the collaborators with their Western betters, and I think the situation on the ground right now is no different. For whatever reason, the Haitian elite decided that they didn't like what Moïse was doing, the former president who was assassinated, and they got him out of there. And it's hard for somebody like me to believe that they didn't do this with the tacit approval of the US State Department, because as you guys well know, nothing happens in our backyard without the State Department's approval. If you do things that they don't like, they will come and coup your behind. I will remind people back in 2004, the CIA backed a coup against President Aristide because, some people would say it's because he tried to raise the minimum wage in the freaking sweatshops from 25 cents to $1. Again, this is well documented. The CIA in America backed that coup. They've been destabilizing this country for decades, if not centuries, right? And so the current situation right now is just a manifestation of those realities.
Yeah, so I've read a little bit about the slave revolt that happened in Haiti that took over the country, and I think it's amazing, fascinating, and has had so many repercussions and reverberations, including basically it made America, and the reason is because it bankrupted the French that were speculating on the slave trade, and then they had to do the Louisiana Purchase for a song, and that allowed America to expand to the West. So it's just an amazing story overall. Now, having said that, now let's speed up to today. So I'm looking for good guys here, Waz, and I don't know if there are any. Okay.
No.
So
there are no good guys. There are the Haitian peasants who are basically getting grounded into freaking dust by this ruling elite and the Western powers. And then there's everybody else who is basically angling for power. Right. Some people, there are media outlets in Haiti that would call this guy Jimmy Barbecue Cherizier some type of revolutionary figure. For those of the viewers who don't know, this guy's a former cop. So he's a former agent of the state. And they basically backdoored this guy. They pinned an atrocity on him, and he's been waging war against the elites ever since. And, I won't lie, if you actually listen to some of his rhetoric, it's got some pretty socialist like bent to it, like revolutionary bent, where he's talking about, hey, these elites, these 5 families basically own the entire island. They hoard all the wealth, all of the resources, all of the aid. They've privatized everything into just freaking oblivion. And so the state, there is no state, there's no income. The last president, before he got assassinated, was in the process of privatizing the electric company and the ports. Those were basically the last 2 state sort of properties, and they privatized that, which means what? It just means so that some private actors can now profit off of it, and the state can't produce any sort of goods or services for its people. And by the way, this is the policy of our Western powers. This is neoliberalism realized to its furthest extent. Absolutely no state, a hollowed out state, and just private actors profiting hand over fist at every single turn.
So one thing that I was surprised to learn about as I was researching this story is the widespread use of criminal gangs by business interests and politicians in Haiti. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think what people need to understand, I guess in the media they call these guys gangs, but they should really be thinking of them more as paramilitary groups. These people come from the Haitian slums. Where the hell are they getting the money, the wherewithal to procure freaking AK-47s and all kind of guns and ammunition and assault weapons? Obviously, they're backed by people with actual financial means. And so for a long time, the different political elite factions and the business elite, they've hired out people in the slums to, essentially do their dirty work during elections. When they have to travel around the country, they've hired these people as a private security force. And, of course, this thing has no governance. There's no oversight. These same people go around terrorizing the citizenry. And how guys, that these people are empowered and employed by the Haitian elite is that everybody knows where the elite live. They know how they live. They know where they stay. Yet all of the gang activity is happening in the poorest parts of the capital city. It doesn't take criminology, 401 level to realize if you want to make some bread, you go where it's at, right? And so that's all you need to know about all of these gangs. They're all backed by the Haitian elite. Different factions of that elite, I should say.
Yeah, so when Israel was attacked on October 7th, they thought they were in peril. 5 months later, they still think they're in peril. So the Biden administration and Congress is trying to rush them $14 or $17 billion. So are they trying to get 14 billion to Haiti right now? 24 billion?
So here's the thing too about aid in a place like Haiti, because there's no government, because there is no state, there's no established order, right? There's nothing, there's no organizing principle of the land besides these, this gilded gentry class of people who own every single resource within the company. What would $14 billion in US aid even do over there, Cenk? Right. Who would they give it to? Who would be in charge of disseminating these goods? Like, there's no state to speak of, right? And so, yeah, obviously it's nasty what the state does when they hand billions upon billions of dollars to weapons manufacturers. Again, by the way, private companies, private actors, y'all. These are privately owned companies that get government checks to send weapons abroad, AKA we fatten the hell out of their bottom line so they can send weapons abroad. You can't really use that same logic. And also, the things that are happening on the ground in Haiti are happening because of US policy. I don't think anybody in the State Department is like, oh, our agenda won't be able to be carried out because the Haitian citizens are suffering. In fact, when they want to carry out this exploitative sort of way of retracting the cheap labor from the country, it's even better for those purposes, right? And so why would they go against an order that they've established themselves and that they themselves benefit from?
Yeah, so of course, I'm kidding about the 14 billion, and if we had intended to help Haiti, there was 100 different ways we could have done it in the past. And of course, we didn't choose to do that for the reasons that you were explaining here. And defense contractors don't have any money to make, etc. But my last question is, if we were good guys and we wanted to help Haiti as in America, right? Is there anything we could do? Given that helping the paramilitary groups doesn't seem like a good idea, the government's a mess. So is there any way that America could help if it wanted to?
I think what Haiti needs right now is a vast sort of infrastructural undertaking. If America wanted to be a great ally and partner, they would invest very heavily in building up the actual infrastructure of the company. You know, sewage, roads. We're talking about the basics here. An electrical grid. That would be the nicest thing the West could do, would actually go about building up a place so that this could be a livable place for the masses of poor and impoverished Haitians. And I will repeat this. The people who actually own the island live like kings and queens. And they do that by exploiting the peasantry. How America, which again, they would never do, would be investment on an infrastructural level. And then of course, you know, allowing these people to build up a state, build up a way to, you know, fund goods and services for its people. That would be the ultimate goal of a benevolent, you know, West. But I mean, that seems like a long shot at this point.
Yeah, especially when you consider that, you know, the US did to Haiti what it did to many Latin American countries in backing a dictatorial regime back in the 1950s, 1957 with Francois Duvalier. So look, it'd be amazing if the US actually changed gears for once and did something positive on behalf of Haiti. I'm not gonna hold my breath though. Now, Waz, we're out of time, but thank you so much for taking time to talk with us. Hopefully you'll come back because this isn't a story that's gonna go away anytime soon. Thank you again. Everyone go check out Waz over at The Ringer. And again, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks for watching. If you become a member, you get to watch all this ad-free, except for, of course, this ad. Still, hit the join button below.